this week's feature story, we highlight the work being done in our diocese in one of the most important areas, youth ministry. Hello, with this week's feature story, I am Tessa Habet. Our feature story is brought to you by Enrique Martinez and Sons.
Enrique Martinez and Sons, your trusted source for cooling automotive. Belize is known to have high temperatures for the most part of the year, so why not buy an LG inverter air conditioner that can guarantee you 70% energy saving? It is without a doubt the cool way to beat the heat. Drive in or call us at 223-0490 or WhatsApp us at 606-4154.
You, dear young people, are not the future, but the now of God.
It is unbelievable to think that in January of 2019, just 2 short years ago, an event dubbed as one of the largest religious youth gatherings in the world took place in Panama City in Central America. Thousands of youths gathered under the full gaze of Pope Francis to hear his message to them.
In Jesus, the promised future begins and becomes life. When? Now. Yet not everyone who was listening felt invited or called. Not all the residents of Nazareth were prepared to believe in someone they knew and had seen grow up, and who was now inviting them to realize a long-awaited dream. Not only that, but they said, "Is this not St. Joseph's son?"
The same thing can happen to us. We do not always believe that God can be the concrete and commonplace, that close and real. His exhortation was an invitation to enter in, leave the periphery and partner with the church in shining that light for Christ. Living in a country where youths make up over 50% of our population, in a world where technology is the medium of connection, those words, "You are not the future, but the now of God," seems almost prophetic. In a COVID world, youths immediately take the lead in connecting parents and grandparents to meeting virtually, ready-made technicians almost. The future of our church, too, is dependent upon our youth. Time and energy we invest into the formation of our young people and those who minister to young people is crucial to the growth and development of our church, and our diocesan youth ministry is tirelessly at work doing just that. In July of 2020, the Office of the Youth Coordinator was established for the Diocese of Belize and Belmopan.
Well, since taking office in July 2020, it has been a privilege for me to be meeting with different youth leaders and youths throughout our diocese. After observations and visits and discussing with different youths and youth leaders, we have started to identify needs in our diocese. We started off with the Belize district, and then we went to Cayo district. And we plan to continue visiting other districts in the months ahead. While we see that it is important for us to start to think creatively about evangelizing using technology, we also feel that building relationships with our youth is important, because Christ came to show us love and to be with us. So our mission here is to utilize technology as well as build relationships with our youth. We have decided as a ministry to target our youth leaders to enrich their learning. Since it is difficult to have in-person meetings and events, we have used this time to reflect and to prepare for what is to come. We have one, listen to what our youths and youth leaders are saying about the different needs that they have. For example, how do we reach out to them during a pandemic? How do we rebuild our young church? How do we look at financial budgets to run a youth group? How do we teach more effective communication given our diversity in our diocese? These are just some of the questions that youth leaders have posed to us. So what we have done is that we've met with our diocesan youth board, we've met with bishop, and we've met with other stakeholders, our youth leaders, to try and find out how we could address these needs.
Over the past few months, the Diocesan Youth Ministry has hosted a number of virtual retreats and workshops for youth leaders across the country.
One of the ideas that we came up with was to have spiritual formation and relationship building in the form of retreats. Since November of 2020, we began these virtual retreats where the youth leaders, along with myself and parish priests and nuns, have planned our retreats together so that it is relevant to our needs for a particular district. Last year, we had our first retreat entitled Discipleship and Collaboration. That was a theme that the youth leaders chose, and they helped to plan this retreat. Based on that retreat, youth leaders commented that they felt a sense of support. They found the time to reflect deeply, and seeing others do that in the same way gave them a sense of unity. And that is what we're trying to do here at the youth ministry. I believe that it is these small steps that will build something better and good for our diocese. What we started off this year is with a workshop entitled Young Church Alive, and this was facilitated by Sister Maggie Cooper, which many of you might know, was a long-time educator and one who started the certificate program in Christian leadership at St. John's College. So we were privileged to have her. And at that workshop, youths were able to meet with members of the diocesan board, youth ministry board, and try to carve out goals about this year, what we as a ministry could do for our youth ministry this year. And so that was a very fruitful discussion and workshop. And from that, we have gathered some more ideas about how we could reach out to youth.
Another event that was hosted by the Diocesan Youth Ministry is a series of youth leaders workshops that will be held in each district. The first one was held on January 23rd of this year for youth ministers in the Belize district under the title Young Belizean Church Alive. And the next workshop will be offered to youth leaders from the Cayo district on March 6, 2021, after which they will offer the program to leaders in the Stan Creek, Toledo, Corozal, and Orange Walk districts. The three main goals of the workshop are to ponder the importance and holiness of our calling to youth ministry, to allow the spiritual needs of the youth to impact the direction of the Diocesan Youth Ministry's endeavors, and to revive and strengthen our efforts and approaches in order to empower the youth ministers of the diocese. The Diocesan Youth Ministry is also in the process of negotiating a partnership with the Jesuit Spirituality Center at Milford through the Archdiocese of Cincinnati to commence a certificate program for people involved in youth ministry. They are hoping to get this in operation in October of this year.
What we have started to do is to seek partnerships, and we've looked at our diocese, but beyond our diocese. Because our church is a global community, So we've looked at partnerships with the Archdiocese of Cincinnati through the Jesuit Spirituality Center at Milford. And we've been in negotiation as to how a youth leadership certificate program would look for our diocese. We've heard our youth leaders talk about learning better communication skills, building their spiritual formation. We've looked at ways that they can engage youth virtually. The new evangelization, how can we think creatively at this time? So keeping those goals in mind, we have started to write a proposal along with our partners at the Jesuit Spirituality Center. And what we've come up with is a document that will guide our partnership. So we've decided that we would like to engage our youth in faith-sharing opportunities. We'd like to utilize virtual platforms in our youth ministries here in our diocese. We'd like to practice leadership skills. The youth leaders have been asking for communication skills, budgeting skills, interpersonal skills, conflict resolution skills, and also to share faith-based intercultural relationships. And I think that's powerful. Our youths come from a diverse array of cultures, and sharing this with other people from different parts of the world will be enriching, and it will strengthen our faith as a young church. We have planned that this will start in hopefully in the September 2021 up to December, and we're planning for it to be a long-term relationship with the Archdiocese.
As the youths are empowered, they will share their own faith journeys.
One of the ideas that came forward from our pastoral team was to engage youths in mini video reflections. And so what we've done is we've come up with a script of ideas, and it's based on the 7 last words of Christ, where each participant will be given a last word or phrase of Christ to reflect on in their own lives. This tradition has existed in our church for many years, to reflect on Christ's final words. And it's a very down-to-earth way of reflecting on how Christ's love has flowed in our lives, how his suffering and triumph on the cross has helped us to overcome many obstacles in our lives. Themes such as forgiveness, salvation, triumph, and reunion are what youths will be reflecting on this mini video series.
Those who participated in these events expressed that they feel a sense of support, and they had the opportunity to learn from the experiences of others and from their ideas, and felt very hopeful for the young people of Belize.
We want our youths to be more fully alive. We want them to be engaged in our church activities. We want them to be part of our mission. The spiritual component of any human being needs to be nurtured, needs to be discovered, and needs to be formed. And our role is to try our best to reach out to those needs of youth. It is to try to have them in a support system, a community where they feel loved and that they belong. That is our mission. One of the things that I have been able to observe throughout my visits is that despite the challenges of the pandemic, that some youth leaders have still managed to reach out to youth. In Belize district, we have about 10 different youth groups, but over the years they have decreased. And one of the things that we're trying to do is identify areas where these youth groups have potential to rebuild. And we would need your assistance. We need volunteers coming forward, people who will step up to the plate. For example, one of the things that I like about Guadalupe Media is that it's run by youths. And we have fresh ideas coming in, creativity, and it's centered on Christ. That's a wonderful way and a wonderful example of the new evangelization, to get youths involved. In the Cayo district, we started off with about 8 youth leaders, and now we're up to 25. So we're thanking God for these small graces, because one of the ideas we came with was to try to rebuild the youth ministry, to revive our young church in Belize. And I think that as we go forward, I want us to keep in mind too that it is not the numbers that will count, but our relationships that we build as well, our faith that we share. And that is where I think we have started.
A lot has been done and there is so much more to do. If you feel called to get involved in the youth ministry here in Belize, you can contact Ms. Miriam Juarez through the Diocesan Facebook page at Catholic Youth Ministry Belize. You can also visit her office, which is located in the Roman Catholic Diocesan Center on 144 North Front Street in Belize City. And don't forget to pick up your diocesan calendars for 2021 at the diocesan office or at Guadalupe Media. The theme for this year's calendar is Care for Our Common Home. You can find inside feast days and the feast days of the saints. And that's our story. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or view on Guadalupe Media Channel 76 on CCV or Channel 64 on CBC. You can also tune in on the radio in your car, home, or office at 101.9 FM. And please be sure to download the Guadalupe Media radio app from Google Play or the App Store. Our Blessed Mother, lead us to Jesus.